way back in World War II, when my dad was moving around the country as he was being transferred from different positions, he whenever he went to a new town, he would get the phone book back in the old days and start looking up Malcolms that were spelled the same way ours is, and start calling them. And he called. This isn't going to go. He would always call them up and see if they were related to us. And this guy just became his friend. He was a stockbroker in New York City, and I was named after him. And his name was James Benham Malcolm. And growing up in a town of 1,000 people, I never thought it was an odd name because there was only one Jeff and one Bill and one of everybody else, so it wasn't a big deal until I went to college. And then like, oh, it's kind of a weird name. And it was always my middle name. So when I went to college, everything was by James, so I got called James all the time. So I just got used to that and didn't even bother trying to correct anyone as far as instructors at college goes. In World War II, he was actually in Pearl Harbor when it was attacked, and spent a lot of time in the Pacific. And then he was actually transferred over. He was his way in New York City. He was on his way to Europe and spent some time there. And brought back I have a whole bunch of photos and things. And then he got out of the service, had his own businesses, and stayed in the Navy. You know, I don't remember what they call it now, and he actually retired as a captain. Well, we moved from Washington. I was born in Washington, and my sisters were too. We moved from Washington to Oregon after my dad's sawmill burned down. Him and his partners lost their business, and he took his share of the insurance money and started looking for a new venture. He looked at some things in Washington and Oregon, decided to buy some sawmills in Oregon, so we wound up down there. He bought 3 sawmills. Just rolling hills and a lot of agriculture and things. The mountains where the trees were a few miles away, 15, 20 miles away. And one of the sawmills was about 50 miles away, but and it was surrounded by trees, more pretty, more attractive. But yeah, where we lived, it's kind of a high desert area. It's cold in the winter and dry and warm and dry in the summer. It doesn't rain. It's not like Western Oregon. We get a lot of rain. Rode a bicycle a lot. That was a big thing with the kids and the boys and around the neighborhood. We rode bicycles all summer long. Went swimming all the time in the summers in the city swimming pool. Rode horses all the time in the summer. All over the town. Small town, there's not much to do. Didn't really travel much. Basically, we would go up to Washington and see all the relatives about July 4th, and that'd be about it for the summer. As far as hobbies go, that's probably about it. When I was younger, I played football in high school and was on the big high school rodeo team for a couple of years.
All right.
Rode bulls. Not one of my prouder things.
that was a brave or dumb thing to do, right?
Yeah, it was fun. My friends were doing different things in rodeos. Some of them were ropers, and some of them rode, like bucking horses. And one of my best friends and I rode bulls, and something to do. When we'd go up to visit our relatives at Christmas.
Why?
It was just a great time of year, and it was winter weather. It was always felt like Christmas. Got to see all of our family. Yeah, one of my favorite things to do was to mow the lawn with our electric lawnmower, which I managed to cut the cord on it about 1,000 times, and so the electric cord was riddled with black electric tape to patch it back together. But yeah, I did that. And then our neighbor had a electric lawnmower too, and I used to mow her lawn for. I get a bottle of Coke and a silver dollar for mowing her lawn. That was big stuff.
Good.
I did better at math than probably anything else. And biology, I did pretty well in high school. English was not my deal, but I kind of managed to get through it. Eastern Oregon State University. Now, they've changed the name of it now. It's Eastern Oregon University, I think now, what they call it. Kind of burned out in California. I've been in San Diego for 15 years and started and met a friend that lived over here, a girlfriend, and wound up moving over here. And that didn't work out, fortunately. So I just stayed here. Eventually met Melissa. We spent a lot of time together. Just immediately after we started dating, we started spending a lot of time together and just was comfortable, and we really enjoyed each other's company and had a great attraction, and just knew it was going that way. She's bossy. No, not really. She's, I don't know, just, she's very, very smart and very driven, and just has a good head on her shoulders, and we get along well together, have a lot of similar interests, and that just made it, easy to spend time together. Definitely a planner when you say plan things. Yeah, she definitely likes to plan and do things, and that's a lot of fun. We went to San Francisco to celebrate our birthdays because they're a day apart. Probably the first year, I don't even know if we were married yet, if it was the first year we were together or the first year after we got married. But we went to San Francisco and had a really good time. That was a lot of fun. And we were going to do it every year, but we haven't. One of those things. Very independent, driven, creative, a little sassy, fun. Great mom, good wife. Her driving skills are a little suspect, but we're working on that.
Yes, one of her questions, on a scale of 1 to 5, 5 being the best, what do you really think of Melissa's driving?
It's in the middle, but it's improving.
Any tips for her?
Yeah, pay attention to the road instead of texting. The key to a successful marriage is just a lot of forgiveness and understanding. Just have to give and take where you have to. It's a relationship. Tell Ellie to not wait as long as we did. Well, we love to go to the playground. She loves the swings. And everything at the playground. Sorry. At home, we do, we play dress up. Yeah, I've got some dress up clothes in there that I have to put on sometimes. She's tried to get me to stand in her high heels, but that's, my feet are a little big. Do a lot of puzzles. Watch movies. Everything. Read books. She winds up changing her clothes about 5 times a day, so we usually have to go in and change her clothes. And find her shoes, because she's always got her shoes somewhere. She takes that after Melissa as far as her shoes just being randomly scattered around. But she's a lot of fun, a sweet girl. And usually have to keep her from taking a chef swing at the dogs once in a while because they try and get too close to her or try and take her snack or something, and she's doesn't like that, especially Jill.
She calls her Swiper because she takes her treats. She's a very smart girl that's always a little precocious and loves her, like I said, she loves to change her clothes and likes to pick out her own clothes, whether they match or not. She'll find a way to make them match. She'll put whatever patterns together, but if there's the same color in both pieces, that's good with her. So let her go with it for school. It's it's not a big deal, not the biggest thing in the world. Shoes are the biggest problem. She's very strong-headed when it comes to shoes, and she will not wear the ones that you want usually. She'll always try and put on the ones that she shouldn't wear to school, that get filled up with rocks and hurt her feet and things like that. But it's just a battle you gotta fight. You take a backup pair to school with her and try and get her to change when you get there. But she's just a very curious girl. Loves to read. She's always loved to read. We started reading her books day one. Her first favorite book was Elmo. And I think that was her first word. So we knew that was going to be something she would have to keep reminding her of. Because Elmo was so big, so that was her big thing. She loved that book. She's just a fun girl. She just loves to do more things and loves to color and paint and take her scissors and cut things up, and always, with 5 minutes you're playing with one thing and then it's on to something else. So it's very, very exciting being around her. Well, you saw how shy she is. That's my personality. She's creative like Melissa. Likes to color and paint. Lately I've been home and she comes home from school and she's like, "Daddy, let's play." So we do. Most of the time I've been taking her to school in the morning, so we didn't really have a lot of time to play. And then when I'd come home later, we'd usually play or watch TV, or we should watch a movie, and she'll watch it for 5 minutes and then she wants to play anyway, so she doesn't sit and watch TV very much, which is good. I'm happy about that. So we've taught her to do other things. She calls her favorite blankets are called Pinky. She's always referred to them as that. And that's probably the most common one that we use. Don't have too many nicknames for her necessarily. Just Sweet Pea and things like that. Sweetie Pie, usually what I call her. Melissa calls her Monkey. But she's just a fun girl most of the time. As she gets older, she's getting a little more feisty and a little bit more attitude and testing her boundaries a little more. But she's starting to learn the definition of a timeout, spend a little time on her own. She doesn't like it to be alone, so a lot of times we'll do a timeout with her and just not let her do anything and talk to her about it. And she seems to respond pretty well to that, better than she does trying to send her to her room to sit by herself. That just didn't really work for us at this point, or at least when she was 3. But it's hard to discipline a child. It's just really, really a tough one. She didn't start out liking the beach at all, but the friends that we go with, their little boy he loves the beach, and so playing together. It took her until she was about 3 before she really liked it. When she was 2, she just kind of sit in the sand and not really that excited about it. But when she turned 3, she started really liking it, and now she's 4, she loves it.
What do you guys do there?
Built sandcastles. Step on seaweed, trying to pop the trying to pop it. She loves to do that. Find seashells, even if it's just a little tiny piece about that big, she'll bring it back. Going to SeaWorld, Legoland, it's all fun. So, she had a good screaming voice when she was born, I'm telling you. That was probably the biggest shock, how loud she was screaming. But once we got her calmed down and got some food in her, she was fine. But changing her diapers was never really a big problem.
because I'd been to a couple of classes where they taught us how to do that, so it started off being pretty good.
And when you first held her after she was born, tell me
It was
about that.
great. It was great. Just couldn't believe it. It was a great baby. Very good, very quiet, slept a lot. And didn't take us long to get her schedules situated so she'd sleep when we wanted her to sleep at night. And get up once during the night after a while to give her some food and change her diaper, and then she'd go back to sleep. It was great.
How has your relationship with Melissa changed since you had Ellie?
I think it's only gotten better. I don't really know how to say how it's changed, but I just feel like it's gotten better. I think we're good parents. We're on the same page with her, with Ellie. So it's been good. I think it's improved.
What would you say is your proudest accomplishment?
Probably Ellie. As far as that goes, personal things. One of the things I'm pretty proud of was getting my instrument rating on a pilot's license. That was a lot of work and fun. I lived in San Diego at the time, and just was something I always wanted to do. I'd had my license for several years, but I hadn't flown for a long time, so I decided to, because the air traffic's so heavy down there, if you're going to fly down there, you need to have a little extra training. So I went through the instrument rating training and got that.
Did you used to fly a lot when you were in San Diego?
Not that much. I flew mostly when I lived in Oregon. That's where I first got my pilot's license, when I was out of college. And used to fly up there. And when I moved to San Diego, I didn't fly for a few years and decided to get back into it. We'd fly around, visit friends fly by their farms and things like that. So it wasn't, there's no commercial flights anywhere really where we live. So we'd fly to Portland sometimes, or flew over by Corvallis. There's Corvallis? No, Corvallis. Just fly over the mountains and look at the elk and deer and things. And just different things. Just go places for a day or for breakfast or lunch or something.
Is that kind of growing up in small towns? Is that what made you want to do it, just so you can get out and about?
Yeah.
How old were you when you got your license?
Probably 23 or 4. It was one of those things. My friends, a couple of my friends, his dads had planes and they flew a lot, but the kids didn't. But one of them called me up one day, and we'd talked about learning to fly together, and we'd gone to college together for a while. And he was back home working for his dad on the farm, and I was working not too far away in a town working for a CPA firm. And we'd been talking about learning to fly for a long time. And he called me up one day and he goes, "You want to buy an airplane? You want to be a partner in an airplane?"